Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me for a coffee. And today we've got someone special joining us for our coffee, and his name is Peter Panagiotopoulos, aka Peter Pan. Good morning, Peter. How are you?
Morning, mate. Thanks for the coffee, by the way. It came just in time for the meeting.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm having today a Turkish coffee, and I'm sure you got something to say about that.
Mine's a Greek one because it was made by a Greek, but it's Turkish.
Thanks, mate. How are you? How's things?
I'm good. It's mate, it's great. It's yeah, the virus. I mean, I feel for you guys down there. I mean, as you know, I'm from down there. So I haven't seen my family now for 3 months. I've been stuck up here.
Wow.
Because if I come down, obviously I've got to come back and then start isolating and all sorts of stuff. And that's if they let me back. So I've been running it from here. But yeah, things are going ahead slowly. And I know down there, I mean, there's been a full shutdown, which, you know, you guys are probably feeling. And in actual fact, it's affecting the whole country because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very different. I know. Okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing before gyms, Peter?
So before I came to gyms, I was doing the taxis. And in between those cabs, so I ran a fleet of cabs for about 8 years. Then sold them all, and I went and helped a friend start a business making bed frames. So that was a factory, which is very close to the cleaning office. Actually, it's in Broadmeadows, just behind the Ford Motor Company.
Yeah.
That's still going. That's now supplying bed frames to probably most of the Australia's mattress manufacturers.
Fantastic.
So I left that, and yeah, then I sort of ended up at gyms after that.
Well, it seems like one lifetime ago.
It was.
You started off from memory as a antennas franchisee in Melbourne.
I did.
And then you somehow made your way up to Sydney.
Yes. So it's a funny story behind that, Haydar. It started off at the time, like I said, I was working other things and didn't have time to do my own antenna at home. And my wife got sick and tired of asking me to do it. And I got home one day and there was a Jim's antenna van in my driveway. So she had enough of asking me to do it, so she called Jim's. And it was talking to that franchisee that got me interested in sort of making a change. I was looking for a change. And at the time, it sort of, the suit was there because my background is electronics. So I went and had a sit down with Andrew Parks, who was the franchisor, the divisional back then. And he basically, I had three main questions that I asked, and I think probably the most relevant questions you could ask in a franchise, because as you probably know, most franchises, and I'd say the majority of franchises, have a commission-based a feature where they, you know, the fees per month is a percentage, and it could be, you know, 5 to 25% of what you make or your turnover is. That was one of the things that I liked about gyms, and I stress that to a lot of new prospectives that I meet, in the fact that at gyms you don't have that. You can make 50 grand a year or $500,000 a year, and your fee is still 7,700 or 7,800 per year. To me, it's fantastic. The harder I work, the more money I make, and that's one of the things that I believe in the gym system, and that's why I joined.
All right, so you joined as a franchisee in Melbourne for Jim's Antennas.
Yes.
And then you made your way up to Sydney. How many years after was that? Or was that straight away?
No, it wasn't. I did about 5 years in Melbourne. And I was very hungry because the amount of money that I was making was good, but I just wanted to sort of expand that horizon and go to something different. And talking to my franchisor at the time, I said, mate, look, how many unserviced leads do you have in Sydney? I think at the time it was something like about 250. And I knew that I couldn't take all of those, but at least I could take what I wanted. And I did very well when I came to Sydney. I didn't know the area, so I had to rely on Navman or TomTom in those days, which is what I bought. And I remember quite clearly there's a meeting that we had probably about 3 months into me working in Sydney, and we had it at Eastern Creek racing track where they do the racing cars. And we had a meeting out there, and everyone was complaining about the amount of money that they were earning because the leads were no good, or the leads were tie kickers, or the leads were they just didn't want anything. They were just calling in to find an antenna, or a price for an antenna. And I'm thinking to myself, why would someone call in if they didn't really want a service? So when Andrew went around the room and everyone sort of was, that week they had made, and I don't know if you want me to actually tell figures, but everyone had sort of made it up to about 1,500, I think was the maximum. And he left me at last because we had been speaking, I think, in the last 3 months that I was up here, because he just wanted to see what the market was like compared to Melbourne. And he knew what I was making. So he left me until last. And when he went to me, and I said, well, mate, look, I've just had almost 3.5 grand for the last week. And I heard someone in the background.
Like 20 odd years ago, wasn't it?
This was 15 years ago almost, which was a lot of money.
It'd be more. Oh, okay, 15.
Yeah, because that was when I first came here. So maybe 13 years ago it would have been something like that. And so when he came to me and I told him I heard someone in the back say bullshit, and I sort of stopped and I went out and got my invoice book, and I said to the guy, I said, who said bullshit? You want to add up my invoices? And he added them up, and he just, they were just astounded that I had sort of made that much when everyone else had made less than half of that. And when he asked me to get up and talk to everyone, and from there I went on to training probably about 7 franchisees up here because of that. My all areas, Haydar, and something I teach to my guys is to, it doesn't matter how far you got to travel, because at the end of the day, if you're going to do 4 jobs and they're going to be good jobs, you're still going to make a lot more money than sitting around your area. And I teach.
I understand that, and that probably applies to Jim's antennas, but cleaning's possibly a little bit different.
A bit different, yes.
As we go on, but that's great. So you had your training in Jim's antennas, and you're right. Andrew Park at the time was a very switched-on guy, and I'm sure he taught you a lot of stuff, and that's fantastic. And we're reaping the rewards of that, because sometime after that you made the decision to buy yourself a cleaning region.
Yes,
and
I did.
Think, according to my records, that was possibly 8 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. It's coming up to 8 years now.
And I know this because in 2 years' time you're up for renewal. So make sure you got some donuts ready or something.
And you get the Greek coffee ready.
No worries.
No, so you get the Turkish coffee ready.
So cool. So you decided to buy a region. You sold your antennas franchise, I presume, and then you started. You bought a handful of franchisees, which was a very neglected region at the time.
Yes.
And which is the northern beaches, eastern suburbs, I think.
Lower North Shore and inner west, a bit of the inner west, not all of it. There's another regional manager. Yeah.
But and then sometime later you bought some more regions, or another region off us.
Yes, that was so I started off with 4 regions, which was like you mentioned, there was the Northern Beaches, Lower North Shore, Eastern, and the CBD. And then later I bought something that was attached to the CBD, which is the inner west region. Yeah, so now there's 5 regions. And look, it's been a great experience, mate. I love it. I get a buzz out of talking to the franchisee. So it's lived up to
your expectations?
Yes, it has. In the beginning, it was hard. I won't lie. And I something that I through because I've had 8 years experience now. There's a bit more knowledge base there than there was like 8 years ago. So in the early days, I was always constantly on the phone calls to different franchisors, learning about the system, and I must thank. I've been one of the best guys that probably helped me a lot was Steve Fitch, another regional manager that was in Sydney at the time, and through him I learned a lot about the business. And that's the thing with gyms, there's a relationship that you build with franchisors that we don't have to come to you, because there's other people around us that are more locally that know the area probably a little bit better than someone like yourself,
Well, it's coincidental. I wrote a journal piece today that's going to go out in the next journal, and it was specifically about that. You know, we've got access to 4,000 franchisees that we get knowledge from and hints and tips.
Absolutely.
And on top of that, there's close to 400 franchisors now, which is really exciting. It's a big pool of information that we can always draw on. So great. So it's lived up to expectations. So that's good for me. I appreciate that because obviously I put the whole systems together, and
absolutely
obviously help everyone else. All right. Well, quickly, out of a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate how much you enjoy your business, and 10 being the highest?
Okay, now I'd say 10.
Now. Fantastic.
In the beginning, it would have been a 6 because
initially I understand, you had to build your process, and I know you had a lot of financial issues that you had to deal with from the previous people that were there.
Absolutely.
And you honored that and cleaned all that up, and I'm really proud of you for that. That's really a gentlemanly thing to do, because a lot of the things that you paid off, or the debts that you paid, you actually didn't have to, and I remember that distinctly.
It was a lot, but like Haydar, I've always said that like my word is a stronger bond than even a contract, and I believe that to this day. My father taught me from a very young age to be like that. And if I give my word on something, I will go and do it. If I've got to go over broken glass to have that done, and I will do it. And like I said, I'm now at a point where I can enjoy it because of that work that I put in, because of that bond, that thing that I have. So
I really appreciate your work, Peter. And just on that note, you realise that we survey all your franchisees every year, and we try and rate you on how successful you are or how supportive you are of them. And until recently, the highest award you could get was a platinum award. And because of people like yourself and a few other franchisors, we've had to create what we call a diamond award, which is the most prestigious award. And you've won that consistently for a few years now.
I have.
You've got to be proud. Well done.
Yeah. Look, I am, but I don't rate that as, look, it's a great award to have because it's I suppose, bragging rights. And I've won, like you said, I've won that consistently since it was introduced, and because I always had very high marks anyway. But look, I don't, you know what? If you go through my bag now, where my computer bag is, where I put that award when I won it last year, it's still in there. I don't put it up to display because I don't show people. It is on my email signature, but that's not what I get satisfaction from. My satisfaction comes from the bonds that I build and the close relationships with my franchisees. Yeah,
I know you're very humble. I know that's very good, Peter. And thank you. I draw upon you many times to help me with the issues that I have, and for hints and tips and ideas and a bouncing board. And so we've got a very good relationship like that. Can you think of a really good memory that you can share with us over your journey? It's been nearly 20 years now in the Gyms Group.
Mate, look, look, I won't go back to the antennas because there's a lot of good stuff that I did there, which is, to me, there's still records now. So all right, look, can I start? I mean, if you've got time, I can give you 4. I'll give you 2 from antennas, and I'll give you 2 from
so the
cleaning.
Question was one memory.
Okay, one memory. All right, the quickest ever split in gyms.
Yes, correct. Which I use in my training, don't I?
Yes. So that's been 3 months from start to finish, and this is from start to signing on and starting was 3 months.
Correct. Yes, that is an awesome achievement. And like I just said, I use that in my training. And then we challenge the new people coming in to see if anyone can beat that. It hasn't been beaten yet.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Good on you, Peter. That was a good one. Well done.
Yeah.
All right. What do you do for fun?
Oh God.
You work so hard, and I know like I said, I draw on you all the time for advice and stuff.
Yes.
And I know you help some other regions with selling some franchises for them, and even antennas, you help them. What do you do for fun?
Look, lately, Haydar, it hasn't been a lot of the the stuff that I enjoy, like skiing. I haven't done that for a number of years, for quite a few years now. Maybe because of my age now too, I'll probably break a leg. I enjoy, I used to enjoy going to the Formula One, but I'm a little bit far away from that now, so I don't go to that anymore. I have driven an Oscar, so I used to enjoy driving out near where you live in Calder Park, you know, the Thunderdome.
Yes.
I've actually driven an Oscar there.
Fantastic.
228 kilometers an hour, as fast as I've ever been. And that was in a race car.
I've done more than that, mate.
Well, you probably have. Yeah, but for me, for me, that was a good achievement. I never thought I'd get over the 200-kilometer mark.
Good on you.
So,
Well,
yeah.
you know, you said you do a lot of walking these days. You live near the beach, so.
Okay, so yeah, I'm like, to give you an idea, out this way, which is sort of east, literally 100 kilometers, 100 meters from the beach. So that's the Pacific Ocean out there. So my beach stretches out for probably about 4 kilometers.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like Bondi. Everyone knows Bondi when you talk about Sydney. This is sort of northern beaches. So on a busy day, you'll get 10 people every 150 meters. It doesn't get, you know, because it's so long.
I understand. Yeah.
So I've seen dolphins out there very close to shore. I've seen whales migrating back. I don't even have to go out on a wild boat. I just go out for a walk and I see them. Doesn't happen every year, of course. But the reason I took that up, Haydar, is because during that, I suppose like everyone, you know, they're in a breakdown at the moment where, you know, you're sort of locked up and everything. Here we're not. So I decided to maybe lose some weight now that my headspace is in a different headspace. And in the last 3.5 months, I've got to say I'm now down to 96.3 from 100. So,
inspiring. Well done.
I'm wrapped. I'm eating better. I'm going on a 4-kilometer walk every day.
Better. You look awesome. You look very bright.
I feel a lot. Yeah, that's because I had a shave this morning.
Thanks. All right. Come to the serious question, Peter.
Yes.
Why would I buy a franchise from your region? Why?
Probably. I know. Well, me basically because of me. I suppose it's the fact that every franchisee I've put on, I've never had one fail. I've made some very, very successful franchisees. I don't have 9 to 5 working hours, and that's because it works for me because I'm in another state. And I wouldn't begrudge that on any franchisor because obviously they have different requirements. They have family and everything like that. But here, because I'm on my own, my phone is always open. If there's a problem, I act on it straight away. I don't wait until Monday. If it comes in on a Saturday or late Friday. And the fact that, you know, like the bond that I have with my franchisees when someone new starts, they help build their business up at the beginning. It's something that I've instilled in everyone. And to give you an example, I had a young lass, Sophie. She came to me and she started in March, which was just at the start of the coronavirus. Now, as you know, we went into a lockdown, so the work wasn't there. I spoke to her yesterday in a proactive, and this is now what 3, 4 months, 5 months later, and she's already doing over $2,000 a week. And that's because franchisees, 3 of them, have loaded it up with so much work that she doesn't even worry about, you know, the pay for work guarantee. So it's mainly because of that, you know, like the bond that she will build with the franchisees.
Your region has a WhatsApp group too, doesn't it? From memory.
We do, and that's look, I don't use it a lot much anymore now because everyone is busy. But yeah, we started one up where franchisees could go there and ask, how do you clean marble? How do you clean this? How do you clean this? What product do you use for this? And as you know, in my region, I've always used enzyme-based stuff, which is the gym's cleaning products that we have now. And everyone gets trained on that, but sometimes you need to use a specific product for a specific stone and or carpet or hard floor.
I understand. No, it's beautiful. Well, that explains a lot, which is good. And just last of all, Pete, before I let you go, because I think there's a bit of background noise as well.
Yes.
Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years, mate? Just quickly.
Okay, so sitting in a house, sipping a Turkish coffee and a bit of raki in Haydars' house in Cyprus.
Really? That'd be fantastic.
Well,
And
I
I hope we don't have to wait 3 years to do that, Peter. I
yeah,
haven't
no,
been there
no,
since
no.
February,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to going back. Yeah, it'll be awesome with you there. It'll be great.
I will. First of all, I've got to get a passport.
Well, that might be a problem.
Now, look, for me, Hayden, I mean, without joking, I enjoy this so much
Yeah,
that I could
I
probably
can
do this
tell.
for another 10 years.
Yeah,
My strength comes from seeing my franchisees become successful. It's
yes,
amazing how much that makes me feel, and
I know.
having that passion behind it, because they regenerate that passion all the time.
Yeah,
I get a big buzz out of someone coming to me saying, "Mate, I've just picked up a $50,000 job." I'm
yeah,
thinking, I don't get any money out of that, but it's such a great feeling, because I know that I've had some sort of small percentage of help for them to achieve that.
beautiful words,
So
mate. That's fantastic.
yeah,
Coincidence, I feel very much the same. Like I certainly
yes,
don't want to go anywhere, and
yeah,
the job that we do is so rewarding and exciting.
yeah, it is, it
We're on the
is,
same page with that one, that's for sure.
yeah.
Anyway, Pete, I won't hold you too much. Thanks for the chat. Hopefully we can chat again. I really enjoyed
Like
it. Enjoy your day, and I'll
I
catch up with
will.
you soon.
No worries, mate. Thank you. Stay safe down there, everyone. That's the main thing.
Thank you, Peter. Take care,
No
mate.
worries. See you guys. Bye, bye.